Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jamie. Thanks for tuning in. If you've been here before, then I welcome you back. And if this is your first time here, then thanks for joining me. Normally I do recipes for a meal or give you ideas for variations on meals that maybe you already make. But today I'm going to do something simple. We're just going to do a simple side dish. And I am going to show you how I make my twice baked potatoes. Ready? Let's get started. Okay, so if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that when I make anything that has bacon in it, I make the entire pack and then I take the leftovers and I freeze it so that I can use it later. So this is the perfect time, if you've done something like that, this is the perfect time to get that out and use it. Otherwise, there is also a pre-cooked bacon that you can buy and use, and I believe that's what I'm going to use because I'm not certain that I have any leftover bacon left in the freezer. So, I will be using the pre-cook. If you don't have that, just fry yourself or bake, whatever, air fry, however you make yours. Just maybe 4 slices of bacon. And that's pretty much, honestly, that's probably the only cooking we have to do, like actual cooking, frying or baking the bacon, because everything that we're going to do today, honestly, is going to be made in the microwave. Believe it or not, I know it sounds weird, especially for me, but this is going to be completely microwavable, and you're not even going to know that it was microwaved. So, except for the bacon that you'll have to cook up, or, you know, if you followed along with other videos and you got some already made bacon that you froze from a previous recipe that we've done, you can grab a few slices of that, or use the pre-made or the pre-cooked bacon, and that's just a few seconds in the microwave to warm them up. So that's how we're going to start. Now, the first thing we're going to start with is potatoes. So I got myself 4, I would say medium to large russet potatoes. And we are going to take a fork and we're just going to poke holes in it. That's it. Let me turn this down so you can see what I'm doing here. All we're doing is going to poke these with holes. This way it helps to let the steam escape. And it's going to help whenever we put these in the microwave. So, you're going to want to do... Sorry, don't mind my hand in front of the lens. Wrong hand to turn the camera. So, all 4 of these, just poke holes the whole way around them. And then when that's done, I'll be right back. Okay. I've got holes poked in all my potatoes. So, we are now ready to throw these in the microwave. And honestly, I don't know if I've showed this one before. I'm trying to think. I can't remember. But, oh, you know what? I might have on that last one, the chicken and potatoes one, which I don't think I've uploaded yet, so bear with me. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this plate. We got 4 potatoes on it. We're going to put it in the microwave. We're going to microwave it on high for 5 minutes. Back in 5 minutes. Okay. So, I just got my potatoes out of the microwave. Oh, let's zoom down here. Okay. Potatoes are out of the microwave. The only thing I'm going to do is flip these over. And then I want to find a bowl that's going to be big enough to cover these. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invert a bowl, just like this, right over top of those potatoes. Okay? And then, we are going to let them set for 5 to 7 minutes like this. And then, when that's done, I'll be right back. Minutes on this. So I figure we can make it up after the next round if it's not going to be good enough. So I did 5 minutes on high in the microwave, 5 minutes covered. I'm going to uncover these, and then these are going to go back in the microwave on high for another 5 minutes. Okay, be back in 5. Okay, so That was my second 5 minutes of the baked potatoes in the microwave. So now I'm going to do the same thing that I did the last time. I'm just going to turn these over. And then I'm going to cover them with a bowl. And we're going to let these sit for 5 to 7 minutes. Now, you're going to want to check them at 5 minutes. And what we're looking for is when you stick your fork in them, we want them to be tender. You know, soft like a baked potato. And if they're not quite soft enough, if they're a little bit too hard, then cover them for another 2 minutes. And hopefully that'll soften them right up. So, I will be back in 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, so it has been 5 minutes for mine, and it is time to pull this off, and we're going to check and see if these are done. And to me, these are fork tender, which means they are perfect. Okay, so let me get this cleaned up, and we'll get started on our next step. Okay. I had to readjust my camera to get everything in the view here. So, these are all fork tender. They look perfect. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paring knife. I'm going to cut these longwise down the side. These are hot, so be careful that you don't burn yourself. Alright, so let's get these all cut. And I guess the smart thing the smart thing to do is stick a fork in them and then cut them. And that way I'm not burning my fingers. So, lesson learned for you guys. Don't burn your fingers. Use a fork. Make it easy on yourselves. Alright. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to scoop these centers out, and we're going to put that in a bowl that we're going to smash up, okay? So, let's get a bowl and start scooping. Okay, we want to make sure we don't get any of the skins in this, okay? So, I'm just going to leave a little bit of the potato around the edge. I'm just taking a spoon, and I'm just making a line straight around this. And then everything on the inside of it, we're going to scoop out, and we're going to add it to a separate dish. Now, we don't want to scrape this clear down to the skin. We want to leave a little bit, and this helps keep the shell in place and without breaking it up. So, this is how we want it to look, okay? And then we got the inside in a bowl, and I'm going to finish scooping all these out and put this in the bowl, and then we will get back to mixing this up. Okay, so this is also one of those meals that is easy to make ahead of time. Not a meal, a side dish. And what you could do is, before you cut this and scoop these out, like after you bake them in the microwave, you can put these in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. And the way I'm doing it now, these are kind of hot to handle, so be careful. Don't burn yourself. And if you want to cool them off to room temperature or put them in the fridge to use them later, that's fine too. For now, for my purposes, I have these all scooped out. I got all my shells scooped out, and I have the fillings in this bowl. Now, before we get going any further, we've got to get everything else prepped and ready to go. So for now, I'm going to set these aside, and then we will get our other ingredients ready and prepped and get these actually stuffed. So, be right back. Okay, as I said earlier, I have decided to use the pre-cooked bacon for mine because I do not have leftovers in my freezer like I normally do. So, my general rule of thumb when I'm doing the choice baked potatoes is one slice of one slice of bacon per potato. So since I did 4 potatoes, now we actually have 8 halves at this point, but we did 4 medium to large potatoes. So at this point, I'm going to do 4 slices of bacon. Now, this pre-cooked one is very simple. You put it in the microwave on high for 4 to 6 seconds per slice. So for 4 slices, I'm going to do up to 24 seconds. And that's all we're going to do with the bacon. If you followed my other videos and you did what I did and you had the extra bacon that you froze, pull about 4 slices out, microwave them, get them defrosted, get them warmed up, and ready to go. And then if you're starting from scratch, it's up to you if you just want to cook up 4 slices of bacon, or if you want to do the whole pack and then freeze the leftovers or use them for something else, that's fine too. But for my purposes, I'm going to do, now I have talked about these before because they are a little pricey. It's got a pretty price tag on it, and you don't get nearly as much bacon in these pre-cooked as you would, you know, if you just bought a pound of regular bacon and cooked it up yourself. But these are nice for quick fixes. And, you know, me, I'm always last minute rushing to work or something, so I need quick fixes. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out 4 of these, and they get placed on paper towels. And then you cover them with paper towels. Like I said, 4 to 6 seconds per slice. So I'm going to put those in the microwave. Cover them up. Okay. In the microwave. Now, next. We do need green onions for this. You could probably get away with using, you know, just a regular yellow onion or a sweet vanilla, whatever, but it does change the flavor. What works perfect is the green, or I haven't done that yet. The green garden onions. Usually you can find them pretty cheaply at the grocery store. So we are going to pull that. And what I do with the onions is half. So we have 4 potatoes, so we're going to use 2 onions. Okay? Put that away. Now the only thing I'm going to do with these, I'm going to clean these up. Cut the ends off of them. Because, you know, that's what I do. Okay, and that was my bacon. So let me grab that real quick, and then we'll get back to this. The only thing we're going to do here is we are going to just chop these into just small chunks like this. And then we are just going to put these in a bowl. And again, I have said this before in my other videos. I am not remotely trained professionally. So when I cut stuff, they are not all going to be the same size. So some are rather small, some are medium, some are large. It's just hard to say when it comes to me. Alright. Dice those all up. And then I'm just going to dump them into another bowl. Alright, get rid of that. Now we need some butter or margarine. The soft margarine spread's fine. I usually use the stick margarine. So let me grab that real quick. Now, this is another one of those. I base it on how many potatoes I made. Since I got 4 tomatoes, yeah. Since I got 4 potatoes. Alright, with my measuring. So I'm going to do, again, half. It's going to be half like the onions. So 4 potatoes equals 2 tablespoons of margarine or butter, whatever you're using. We're going to throw that right in with the onions. I'm going to cover this with some plastic wrap so it doesn't make a mess out of my microwave. As soon as I find my plastic wrap. There we go. Alright. So we're going to cover this up. And we're going to start microwaving this 30 seconds at a time until the butter or margarine is melted. And that's going to help soften up those green onions a little bit. Okay, so let's get this going next. Okay, now for mine, 30 seconds was perfect. Everything's melted. Those are starting to get soft. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir. Now, what we're going to do, remember earlier when we scooped out our potatoes and we put all that in a bowl. So now this, our butter and onion mixture. Oh, it smells amazing. I say it all the time. We need smell-o-vision. Anyhow, so I'm just going to add this right to my potatoes. Okay. Set that stuff aside. Now, again, you know, I had trouble with the measuring. Sometimes I remember to do it. Sometimes I forget. So, what I'm doing, I'm just going to do a sprinkle of the pepper. Again, we're going to talk about, let's see, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. And then let's do about maybe 1/4 to 1/2 a teaspoon of salt. Okay? Now, we just want a small splash of milk. We don't want very much at all. Maybe, if I had to guess, a tablespoon. Okay? And I did not get my mixer out. Let me grab that real quick and we'll get right back to this. Okay, now, I grabbed my mixer, but in the meantime, I also dumped my potatoes, butter, and onion mixture into a larger bowl because, excuse me, if I had tried to mix this in that little bowl, it would have sprayed it everywhere. Did not want that. So, I only have one beater on my mixer. I'm going to start on low, and I'm going to mix this up until it's smooth, just like you would if you're making a mashed potato, okay? So, start on low, and we just want this to be nice and smooth, well, as smooth as we can with the green onions. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, if your potatoes seem a little bit dry, or you're having trouble and, you know, they're just kind of lumpy, you can add up to another teaspoon of milk if you have to, just to make sure that they're not too dry. Okay, so at this point, this is what we got. Looking yummy, right? Okay, now it's time for our bacon. So, let's grab our bacon. Okay, so all we're going to do with this bacon is we're going to crumble it up right into our potato mixture. You can have small pieces, big pieces. It doesn't matter. This is going to be personal preference on what you want. So we're just going to crumble this all up. I have mine about this big. Not overly large, but not so small you can't hardly see them either. So let's get this crumbled up. And then the only thing we're going to do here, we're not going to remix this. We're just going to stir that bacon in because we want this well blended. Okay, so I got all my bacon in there. Now, got my spoon, and I'm just going to stir this all together. Now, we want this well blended. Okay, so this is kind of like a mound now. This is what we end up with, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get our potato shells that we've done earlier. And we're basically just going to re-scoop this right back into those potatoes. That's it. That's all we're doing. We're scooping them back in. Make sure they're nice and full. You know, as full as you can possibly get them. Pat them down a little bit because you don't want them too heaping. Because if you put too much in one, then you're not going to have enough to go the whole way around. So, we want to make sure that we got enough to fill all of our shells. And this is where it comes in to have the mixture well mixed, because if you don't, then you're going to have some that has all the onions in, some that has all the bacon in, and you pretty much want these to be consistent. Sorry, I got that bowl right in front of the camera. Sorry about that. All right. All right. I'm going to finish getting these stuffed, and then I'll show you what they look like when I'm done. Okay, now if you watched any of my other videos, you probably already know that I buy my cheese in bulk. And then I put them in these little baggies, throw them in the freezer. So my cheese is frozen right now, but that's okay. What we're going to do, I got mozzarella, and I have a medium cheddar. Now this one's personal preference. Mild cheddar, sharp cheddar, whichever one you want. It's personal preference. And then mozzarella. And then I'm also going to grab some... maybe some Parmesan. Okay, so the one I have is a Parmesan and Romano cheese, but you can just use straight Parmesan if you want. All we're going to do is over each one of these potatoes, we're just going to sprinkle that Parmesan. And then we're going to take our mozzarella and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to sprinkle the mozzarella over top of these potatoes. Try to keep it from spilling out over, because when we heat this back up, we don't want the mozzarella to blend in with the other potatoes and stick them all together. So we're going to try to keep them together. Easier said than done. Maybe it'd be easier if I thawed my cheese first. But since I never know about how much I'm going to use, it's just easier for me to use it frozen and keep it frozen. That way I'm not thawing out too much cheese that I won't be able to use and end up throwing out. Okay. So I'm going to estimate that I use maybe between a half cup and a cup. And again, this is going to go by your personal preference. I actually like a lot of cheese. Sometimes I think I'm part mouse. So we're going to do the same thing with the cheddar. And I'm going to estimate it's probably going to be about the same. About a half a cup. Up to... come on. There we go. Alright, perseverance. Right. Alright. So, we're going to put that on top. And if you watch my other videos, you know how big I am on the color palette. So, in this case, we have all that white topped with this orange. It looks beautiful. Now, you could... in fact, we might try it. You could top this with maybe some parsley flakes. Fresh parsley would be perfect if you had it. Give it that little pop of green to it. Okay. And then, let me see. I think I will. Let me grab that real quick. Alright, so I got my parsley flakes. I'm just gonna, oh, that looks beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Alright, look how amazing that looks. Isn't that awesome? That is so awesome. Okay, so all we're gonna do now, since everything's pretty much already cooked, it might have slightly cooled down while we were prepping everything, but all we're gonna do, we're gonna pop this right back in the microwave, maybe a minute or two to melt those cheeses, and that should be it. So let me get this melted and I'll be right back. Okay, so I actually ended up putting mine back in the microwave for 3 minutes in order to melt the cheese. But look how delicious that looks. So let me grab a small plate. Now, I know I said earlier that this makes a perfect side dish, and it does. You can serve this with chicken, beef, pork. It doesn't matter. I've served it with spaghetti even. It's a perfect side dish. However, for somebody like me, I am not one of those people that have to have meat in every meal. And so for me, this makes a perfect snack. Not too little, and I will just eat this as a snack. So what do you think? And it was almost entirely, well, on my end, it was entirely microwave. You had to fry up some bacon or bake some bacon. You had a little bit of cooking involved. But this is a quick, simple recipe. And again, if you start with the potatoes, you can put those in the fridge for up to 5 days. And then come back, cut them in half, scoop them out, and, you know, finish the recipe from there. But it's amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this. And don't forget to hit that like button there and hit subscribe so you can be notified of any of my future videos. And I still am thinking about that dessert one. I know I've been promising it for a while, but I will come up with a dessert dish to share with you. I keep saying I'm not the baker, I'm the cook. My youngest sister is the baker, but she's promised to share some recipes with me, so we'll get that one figured out. Until then, enjoy, have fun cooking in the kitchen, and bon appetit!